They say that those who tell the stories rule the world. I couldn't then be happier to hand over the world to this band of rulers. Artists who through their art, be it song, music or dance, tell us things about themselves and ourselves. Because only when you are true to yourself can you tell genuine stories. Every week, join me as I seek out different storytellers on Teachers' Genuine Stories. If the soul had a language, it would have to be dance. Because dance is a starkly honest storyteller. It removes all fears, all reservations, all inhibition. On Teachers' Genuine Stories today, I am meeting an artist who believes that dance is the most suited storyteller for our times. Her name is Mayuri Upadhya, and she has founded Nritarutya, a first-of-its-kind dance collective in Bangalore.
Dance frees me up. There is no single moment where I decided to be a dancer. It was the only life I knew. In my dance, there are no boundaries. It is a space where the wind talks to you and elephants can fly. I wanted a place where there are no limits to what dance can do. That is Nritarutya. Nritarutya is a storyteller of modern India, expanding the frontiers of tradition and art.
While Mayuri is a genuine artist, she's also a pragmatist and believes art has to be self-sustaining and has to strike the right balance with commerce. Ever since she was a child, Mayuri Upadhya used dance to retreat into a private world. A world where there were no limits to imagination or creativity. Her philosophy behind creating Nritarutya is to create a space where dancers have no shackles, where they find new ways to tell stories from the past. The dancer as a contemporary storyteller is the main theme of her work. Hi Mayuri, welcome.
Hi.
I know and I've read that you have learnt formally Kathak, Bharatnatyam, Kalaripayattu, Odissi. Am I missing out some dance forms and martial arts forms that you haven't dabbled in?
Well, actually, I've done a bit of all these forms and
Any others?
Several other contemporary styles and folk styles. But I think for me, when I entered this world of dance, what fascinates me more than the grammar of dance is the possibility of innovation. For me, my work should speak of my personal journey, my personal responses when I'm creating a piece of composition. So when I started learning these multiple art forms, it kind of opened up my mind into different perspectives of different schools of thought actually.
The tongue twister, Nritarutya,
Absolutely right.
is loosely translated into the tree of dance.
Yes.
So how did that name come about?
Honestly, when I coined this name, it was a bunch of us dancers sitting together and exploring possibilities. I didn't think that it's going to be this tough to pronounce, but it just sounded right, and we picked that. So Nritarutya means that you're rooted like a tree, and you're branching out through dance.
When did you actually say to yourself, not only do I want to be a dancer, I also want to create a troupe, a group of people who would help translate my vision?
It probably goes back to the point where my journey with dance started, and it's maybe in school, probably in math class, when I would be sitting there physically present with wide eyes, and the teacher would think that I'm totally alert, and I would be creating dance work. And when I say that, I'll be floating in the air, or I'll be dancing around the trees and things like that.
How old were you at this time?
Probably third, fourth standard.
Oh, okay.
After I've completed college, immediately the next day, I wore a backpack and I went around to event companies asking them for, a possibility to go on stage. So I had a lot of dancers who were ready to work with me. I didn't have a clue of a company or a team, or I just knew I wanted to go on stage and I belonged there.
Sure.
It took me about 4 years exactly. 2004 is when I registered my company, Nritarutya, to really chalk out a vision, to understand what it means to call ourselves as a dance professional.
When you do something of the size and of the public attention like Madhushala, tell us a little bit about how that happened and what was your experience working on something like that?
If I had to connect the dots, there was a wedding show that we had designed. Again, simply because it was extremely unique. We were dancing on the walls in a wedding in Hyderabad.
Okay.
So the whole act was about welcoming the guests. And Abu Jani and Sandeep Khosla had watched our show there, and they asked me to create something for them. It was called India Fantastic, a book launch, and I had used neon Kathakali mask, and we did a twist on Bollywood songs, but with folk patterns. And Mr. Bachchan was very gracefully present there, and I came back home. And the next day I got a call from Sandeep sir saying, Mayuri, just catch a flight and come back. I said, sir, I just landed. And he said, come back, Mr. Bachchan wants to meet you. And I went there and he was waiting there, with references, with text. And I got a personal reading of what he feels about the poet and about the piece of poem.
And what did he want?
So to me, when he read the piece of work, what I really saw was his love for his father. And actually just then I had lost my father too,
Oh, sorry to
so somewhere the way one could bond with someone who is not physically present was very evident to me. How deeply human connections can happen is something that was very beautifully visible to me. And Madhushala is all about celebrating life. That's the best I tried to translate. And the best compliment I got after watching the entire musical was Mr. Bachchan coming to me and telling me that Babuji ki yaad dila di tune.
Oh, wow.
So that was very heartwarming.
So from the first idea, the germ of an idea, to the final product, how long does it take for your troupe and for you?
It totally depends on the choice of the subject. Sometimes when we're doing a home production, it takes over a year. The dancers train in multiple workshops. They get their body ready, after which the mind is attended to.
Wow, yes, of course.
So there are a lot of topics which are highly deep and philosophical. For that to happen, once you kind of absorb the material, the dancing material, then you start questioning, and there is a lot of trial and error process to that. While that can take about a year long, the commercial work, which is a spectacle work that you were mentioning about, that can get ready in 20 days, 25 days for us.
Wow, really? Is that how quick you can work?
Yeah. I take a lot of prep work. I personally, individually spend at least about 2 to 3 months in trying to figure out what it is that I want to say.
So has there ever been a time when you felt like chucking it all up?
Yeah. Honestly, yeah. Once every few months, every few days, yes.
Really?
I feel exhausted. I think I've slept a lot less since I've taken up the company, but I think it's also very satisfying. There's a very deep connection that I can't give up, and no matter what the end is, I want to try my best.
You and your troupe were pretty much the artistic and dance spine of Mirzya. And you had one song in Kalank which you designed, not choreographed, but you designed the whole idea behind it. How have been your experiences in the Hindi movie space?
Well, I think Hindi movies are beautiful, demanding. The brief of Mirzya again was that we were literally the storytellers. We were the sutradhars who took the plot continuously, even between songs, between scenes. So that connection for me was very fascinating.
Wonderful. It's so rare.
And also the body language was very much based on improvisation technique. So I would work a lot with the emotions and the mood of the song than the lyrics of the song, which was very nice.
And one very important and big part of this search for a story that is authentic is the process. The process of how the person, the artist, in this case you, arrives at a piece of art. What I'm going to request is if all of us, the audience and myself included, can come and be a fly on the wall to see something that if you could possibly create for us, and then be a part of the process of the conceptualization and the creation, and then hopefully see something, the end result of whatever that happens.
Oh please, I think you should participate in it too. We'll take you there. I'd love to show you a piece that we're working on. It's about the elegance and pride of a peacock.
Okay, that sounds interesting.
So come and see how we kind of create our own language of dance.
Let's do this. We are heading to meet Mayuri's core team that helps her keep it together. Her sister, Madhuri, is associate director here and also a choreographer herself.
Once more, can I say that?
Hi.
Namaste, hi. Hi.
Please, hi. Please carry on, carry on.
Lata, take over.
So good that you're here. And meet Mayuri Upadhya.
Hi. Pleasure.
She is my sister, partner in crime. She's a painter, a crazy, wacky creator. She's a choreographer, and she heads the education wing of Nritarutya.
Wow. My God.
What an introduction.
There's so many hats that you're wearing. There's this sort of hitting the trees and coming back down.
Illusionary hats.
Yeah, but what did I interrupt just now? What's going on?
We are rehearsing for the upcoming performance, and we're doing a dance piece on peacocks.
Oh,
Yeah.
I see. Is this a troupe that you work with for many, many years, or are there newcomers in here?
There are 3 full-time company dancers here in the company who've been with us for many years, and they train with us. but a lot of them have been freelancing with us about 10 years now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so we work with all of them regularly. A lot of them, in fact, have been a part of the production, home production that we do, which we develop over a year. So in the course of the year, they undergo a lot of training, and they are involved in the process of developing the material and, a production.
How do you separate your duties, work? How do you separate who does what? Is there a separation in stuff?
No, there is a very clear separation.
Tell me.
And
So at work, like I said, she handles the education section of the company. So she runs the centers, the batches, the inflow of all the students, the community classes.
Right.
She also recruits dancers for the company.
yeah.
So I think it's never a 50-50. So one has to always lead,
Of course.
and the other has to contribute. So if I'm the more practical one, she's the more crazy one. So there is a balance.
You're
in the
crazy.
company.
Let's call me a dream.
So what we're seeing today,
Yeah.
is it from your head or is it from your head?
This is actually, I think, from my head. We always do something that's different, and we have to give it a twist. So it's inspired from the, gestures, the hastas, the eye movement of our classical dance. But at the same time, it's got beatboxing and a twist to it.
Very cool.
Yeah, and it's also inspired by the attitude of a peacock, which is very proud and snobbish. So we try to bring about the attitude and not just the movements of a peacock as well.
So in this creative and collaborative process, from conception to final performance, what are the various steps?
See, it starts, the seed is the choreographer's thought. For Mayuri, it could come probably from mythological story that she reads. From there you go and develop it further, maybe to the music room, or it could go directly to the studio, dance studio, and where you start putting a structure to the idea through dancers. And then you simultaneously work with your music designer, and the next step would be to work on sets or props, that if you have any of it, and costumes as well.
That's fascinating. I am going to leave you to it.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to seeing the soul and the body and the mind and the translation of what life would be through the eyes of a peacock or peacocks in the evening. Good luck and see you soon.
Sure.
Yeah, lovely having you.
Bye.
Bye.
See you soon.
This is my favorite part about meeting different storytellers. The part where I become a fly on the wall and watch our genuine artists, deeply immersed in their art, oblivious to everything else. It can be a moving experience. Nritarutya, like any good story, is a collaborative one. It is the result of the hard work of so many talented people. Mayuri, Madhuri, and their core dancers, for whom this troupe is life itself.
मोरनी बादामा बोले आधी रात माँ मोरनी बादामा बोले आधी रात माँ चनन चन चोरिया चनन चन चोरिया खनक गई चूड़िया खनक गई हाथ माँ बादामा बोले आधी रात माँ बादामा बोले आधी रात
history of dance is an apt description for Nritarutya. As they branch out into the future with new direction, they remain firmly rooted in the past. They like to call themselves risk takers who want dance to finally become a self-sustaining industry. It is a story of the triumph of the artistic will and spirit. Next week, join me again on Teachers' Genuine Stories, where I meet more such inspiring and genuine storytellers.
कनल कन चूड़ियां खनक गए